Welcome to the Animal Diversity and Skull module. So this module is a little difficult to do online. It's difficult to do in person too, but it is more difficult to do online. Because of that, I give you a lot of help for it. So as usually, you get the module overview. This video will land right here. You've got a lab handout. You have a lecture materials as usually. There's a demo. Make sure you watch the demo. And then you have a lecture quiz, a handout quiz, and a unknown quiz, and a dichotomous key assignment that you can use as a bonus. So let's jump into the background information. So the background information is usually there's a lecture that I want you to watch. The PowerPoint and all the materials can be found here. If you click on that, that's where you find all the materials. That's where you find the lab handout. And when you look at the lab handout, there are a number of things in there, amongst other things, a photo gallery illustrating the anatomical features of skulls, and 3 different keys to identify them. So read through this, watch the lecture, and then you're coming to the demonstrations. One of the hardest things to do in this class this time is to identify the skulls based on a key, based on a dichotomous key. And I'm asking you to create a dichotomous key in part because I want you to practice how to use a dichotomous key. So here's a tutorial how to make a dichotomous key. And this shows you how to get through a dichotomous key with a skull that is not, in fact, in your that's not one of your unknowns. So this skull is different from your unknowns. The hardest part in the dichotomous key is to remember the different terms. So you're going to have to figure out, you're going to have to know what a rostrum is and what an incisor is and that kind of thing. And once you know all of that, you should be able to do the assignments without too much of a problem. I recommend that using the key is difficult, and if you go wrong, you can go wrong, very, very quickly. So I highly recommend that you use this activity, which is accessible through here. If you click on "Try this activity," this activity will walk you through it. It will help you through the assignment. So this is a Google Doc. Where you click here to get an employee to unpack the boxes. And then once the boxes are unpacked, you've got a mess at your hands. And so what you want to do now is you want to click on a skull. So any of these skulls have links that you can click on. So you click on this skull, for example. And then you just click. So don't scroll through there. If you scroll, bad things happen. So click on it. And then just click on the blue sign. So click here to start. And then it says, this is a large brain case, smooth rounded muscle, reduced to give it an almost flat face, or the skull looks different from above. So then you decide which one of the choices it is that you need to pick. I'm going to pick the second one just to show you what happens. So if you pick the wrong one, this is the wrong one, it tells you when you're wrong. So it says this describes the skull on this page, but not yours. So go back to the previous slide and pick the other one. Then when you pick the other one, it tells you, yes, this identifies your skull. This is the skull you're looking at. So you do this for each one of the skulls. This is the skull that you watched for practice. So that's not actually one of the skulls you need to identify. You need to identify all the others. In your lab handout, you're going through this one. So let me show the lab handout real quick just so that you see what that looks like. So in the lab handout, you have at what's the end, you have first you have a couple of pages with all of the different technical terms that you need. And then here is a walkthrough of a dichotomous key for one of the items. And this one happens to be skull number 6. So you can go through skull number 6 and just follow along with this. Um, but so here are the photos for all of them. There's, I believe, 13 of them altogether. And for most of them, you're going to use key B. For a few of them, you're going to use key A. If you're going to do this on paper. If you're going to do this with the activity, it automatically takes you to the key that you have to use. And here are the keys. So the way dichotomous keys work is they give you a set of couplets. It's basically a game of 20 questions. They give you a set of couplets, and either the one is correct or the other. So either the greatest skull length is 20 millimeters from front to back, or it's not. And so depending on which one it is, you then go on to the next thing. So if what you're looking at is a horse that is more than 20 millimeters in length, 20 millimeters is, go look up how much 20 millimeters is. It's not very big. So with a horse, you would go to 2. And then you would say, okay, large brain case, smooth, rounded muscle. Yeah, no, this does not look like a human. Skulls not and above. Go to 3. 3 incisors present. We do have incisors in our upper jaw, so you go to 3B. You go to 4, etc., etc. You just go through that like that. This short key only works for those 2 items that we have. The slightly longer key is key B. Um, Note that some of the things don't actually go to anything. If you get to a dead end, you probably went wrong somewhere. So as you're going through these, as you're going through the key, it should become more and more. The clues should become more and more descriptive of what you're actually seeing, similar to the way the tree was, right? And that's it for today. So let me go back to. So yeah, so here are there's a couple of different documents that you have. And the other thing you're going to need is you're going to need this Google site for the observations, because for the non-skull things, there are observations we'll ask you to do. And these observations, you can see them here. So you can see Hydra under the microscope. We in class, we would watch planaria eat liver and light dark behavior. So here are all the videos you're going to need in order to watch the different things that you need to answer the questions in the lab handout. And that should do it for you guys this week.